Hey y'all, welcome to Sage Patch in the fall. It's been a bit since I have done a video and we'll see how this goes. Feeling rather rusty, but I'm excited to get back on this channel and share how my homestead journey has gone. And part of what has been the holdup is, should I go back? Should I pick it up? The last video I did was when I went and picked up the 5 guineas, the Jackson 5, and I was gonna document their whole story, and I don't think I posted a single video after that. I started to edit video 2, and it's been on my to-do list for like almost a year now, it feels like. But it was overwhelming to think about going back. I have probably thousands of videos that I've done over this time documenting the journey, and maybe I can include snippets of them as we go. I think it'd be really fun to write a book too, but it has been a wild and crazy ride with guineas, and let me just tell you, chicken math is a real thing. It is real. How do I know? Well, let me tell you. I started with 5 guineas, and then, well, I put them in the converted barn I call the guinea garage. That took me forever just to retrofit it out with just a few things. I put a door on it and hardware cloth and stuff. That was its own adventure. And then you put the birds in there and you're like, this thing is massive. There's no way you can use the deep litter method with you guys. You're never gonna turn this into compost. And then I'm like, okay, you read about like online, you should have 10 guineas because it's better flock dynamics, and they'll watch out better for hawks and predators. So I'm like, okay, 5 more. My husband agreed. I'm like, yeah, let's just do that. So I try and get 5 more. The woman I was getting them from, new color, lavender, really sweet. Didn't have 5 at the time. Most I could get from her was 4. And then I was like, okay, so I'm still short. So let me know when you have more, right? And then when she had more, it was just like, well, you can't just get 1 at a time because guineas are very much a social creature. They need each other, and you need at least 4 at a time, I think, but 5, 6 is probably even better. So what did I do? I got 5 more lavenders. Meanwhile, I was already trying to hatch some eggs. Get this, I got an incubator. I'm trying to hatch some guinea eggs from the Jackson 5. So then I end up with these 5 guineas. They're like a week old. My few hatch, add them in. So now I've got 8 more, plus the 4 that I call the lavenders. And then a friend, I think this is the sequence. And then a friend reaches out to me. She's like, got these 3 chickens that are kind of mostly done laying eggs, and you feed your dogs a raw meat diet. Are you interested in, having them to butcher? I'm like, yeah, let's do this. I gotta learn how this works because that's part of this whole process, is to be able to feed my dogs too. And yeah, that got me started with the chickens. And I was like, oh my gosh, these are totally different. And they excavate. They create holes. They would, if not for the hardware cloth, they would have dug themselves out of the guinea garage by now because it's dirt floor, right? So they just keep excavating. I'm like, holy cow. That is one of the lavenders. What you saying? What you saying? Uh-huh. They have a favorite girl who is one of the Jacksons, Mystery. And she's not with them now because she's back with the Jacksons. And so they're like, hello. So I got my first 3 chickens. And then it kind of went from there. What were the next ones that I got? Oh, then I got a broody hen because I'm like, well, I hear guineas, if I'm going to hatch eggs to be able to self-sustainable. All right, ma'am, you need a source, of eggs, and I don't want to put them all in an incubator and do all the work myself. Why couldn't a hen just sit on them and hatch them and raise them herself, right? So chicken hen could do that, so I need a broody hen. I'm figuring from what people say, guineas don't do that. So the friend who I got my first 3 ISA browns from, she gives me a broody hen. The broody hen tragically died So I'm still looking for a broody hen. And then a friend of that friend posts on Facebook about these two roosters that are super cute, and she'd like them to go together. They're Cochin Bantams, and they were hatchmates, raised together, hand raised, kid raised, not gonna get really big. I was petrified of roosters. I was petrified of everything. I got the Jackson 5. I was petrified to hold them. I didn't know what I was doing or anything. It was crazy. Then I'm like, oh, I'll get these roosters. And then, so my friend who knows I'm looking for the broody hen tells her friend this. And so she randomly brings me a bird, and she's like, if you don't want her, that's fine, but you know, do you want her? And I'm like, well, sure, sure. I got space. I need a broody hen. Yes. And it has gone from there where it just keeps, you just keep saying yes, and you just keep ending up with more birds. And I have a lot of birds. I'm scared to even like say how many birds I have, because not scared, but it's almost like, how many birds do you need? I have plans. And you can't, like, birds take a long time to be able to lay an egg. So you hatch a chick. It takes average 6 months, 7 months. Some breeds even longer, some a little bit earlier, but I'm looking for eggs. And that's a long time if you're gonna hatch them yourself. It's like right now it's $25 on average for a laying hen. So suffice it to say that I am laying the foundation right now. I am building my flock. I collect roosters. People that need to rehome their roosters, have too many roosters. I take roosters. I prefer them organically fed, free range, but healthy, of course, you know. So I have a bachelor pad of roosters. That original broody hen that I got, I now have hatched some chicks from her. And those two little Cochin Bantam boys that I got have been the daddy, and those first three are like the light of my life. They are 7 weeks old now and are such a joy. I'm mama hen, and I have, I don't know, what do I have? I have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 chicks that I'm mama hen for right now. 2 of them are actually guinea keats. And it's been a crack up. Just, I can't recommend that higher, to raise your own chicks and be hands-on with them. You know, not just go from the incubator to the brooder, you know, to the crate, to, you know, and integrate them with the flock and let them go. I mean, hands-on. Day one, been holding them, snuggling with them at night under blankets. We go out every day. We scrounge for bugs. You want to know how to pull weeds and get weeds cleaned out of your yard? Have to go out foraging for bugs with your chicks. You will pull weeds out every veggie bed in your entire yard. Pulling weeds is like the best way to expose bugs. They all love grubs, worms. Guineas will eat the worms. There's this one slimy worm that kind of like curls up and just lays on the surface of the soil, and it's very sticky, has gotten stuck in fluff, and I've had to cut it out. It's crazy, but they all love it. But pulling weeds is how you find all these things. Lifting up everything is how you find stuff. And it's like you can tell them to come on over when you find a bug. They'll be right at your hands as you're moving soil around. They're right there to find the bug. I mean, but we're going through the yard and we're getting everything cleaned up from summer and getting all this weeds cleaned out and starting to pull out old plants and stuff. So it's the most fun I've ever had pulling weeds, bar none. So there's that. And then behind me back there, behind the table really, are the Jacksons, and the Jacksons now have their own babies. So the whole guineas don't hatch their own eggs very well, or if they do, they just ditch them and run off. And oh no, this girl, Smudge, mama hen extraordinaire, 2 daddies. Daddies are right there. It's the threesome. Mystery is the kind of little mean auntie who comes around. But she's doing okay. But she's with them, but she doesn't feed the chicks. If they get in her way too much, she'll peck at them a little bit. So I guess she's teaching them boundaries and rules a bit, but still. Anyway, 30 eggs, 25 of them hatched. 31 eggs. She kicked out one totally bad smelling terrible egg. I was like, oh, good for you, kicked it out. 5 didn't hatch, don't know why. They stopped developing. 25 hatched overnight, like within 24 hours. They were all there. I have this picture burned into my brain of thinking that she had 6 already hatched, because I saw some eggshells out, and it was pouring down rain this day. We're trying to put up, she's hanging out in there, the teepee. There was cowpeas growing up around her. It was more secluded, and then everything started to die and she was more exposed, so I was trying to bring in pots of plants to give her some protection, you know. But it's a rainy day and they're hatching today, and I'm like, she's gonna get flooded out. So we're trying to put up umbrellas and tarps and plastic and all this stuff. She stands up, and that moment that she stands up and I see every single chick is right there, hatched and alive. It looked like all of them. I mean, I couldn't count, didn't take a picture, didn't have my phone. I was soaking wet. It was a rainy, storming day, and I'm like, incredible. I have that forever burned into my brain, that sight and that feeling that I had seeing what she had done. She had them out and in the yard within a couple hours. The rain eased up, but it was dripping wet. These babies are getting drenched. Daddies became what I call mobile heating units, and they're just out. They would just sit down. All the babies would come under them, and then mama could be grooming herself, or she'd get a little bite to eat and all, and then they would move a little bit more. Very slow, but I was still paranoid. I still check up on them, but they're 3 weeks old now, and it has been, like, I say all that to say chicken math is for real. I never intended to have this many birds. Yes, I want to feed my dogs eggs and meat, and my husband is loving the healthy eggs too. It's a great source of protein, most available source of protein of all the meats are eggs, you know. So I'm still not eating any of it, but it's been an unforgettable adventure. Definitely some low points too, some losses, some tragedies, even a predator attack. I broke up a rooster fight this morning. I'm not petrified of birds anymore. I have learned so much. I can't believe where I am today compared to then, and you can do it. Watch that first video I did. Do I even talk about being petrified? I don't know. It was probably in the second or third video that I didn't edit and post yet, where I shared really how nervous I was, and it wore me out to be engaging with these birds and trying to get them used to being held when I didn't even know what I was doing, and it was exhausting for me. But to be able to go from that point to getting extra birds, hatching birds, snuggling with birds overnight, hatching a bird from an eggshell that got stuck in the shower to keep it humid and hot enough for them to help them out of the shell. I mean, to roosters that are fighting, to choosing to get roosters because they're beautiful, because they create eggs, because now I can do breeding combinations of how I want. And then it's like there's another source of meat, food for the dogs. And I have breeding plans. I've picked out breeds that I want to have. I want to have a colorful egg basket. I want to sell chicks and laying hens and eggs, and I want to do that and have fun at the same time. And I have just, say it again, I've learned so much, and it's been incredible. And so you can do it. It is possible. And tomorrow I'm going to pick up a flock of roosters. And this is a breeder, and I'm going to get a couple of her rejects from her breeding program. that are roosters. Did I say roosters already? Probably, but it's the guys that are talking over there. Some newbies over there. And yeah, so my count is gonna change again. So, oh yeah. And I have eggs in the incubator. Chicken math is a real thing. So before you dip your toe in, before you get that first chick or guinea keet, just know that chicken math is real, and you will find every reason in the book and then some as to how to justify getting them. And it's all okay. It's all good, but you can do it, and it'll be a marvelous adventure for you. And there's so much I have to share with you about that, even our current situation. So stay tuned for that ride. And so it is fall, y'all, and I have lots to share with you as to what's going on, not just with the chickens and the guineas, but with fall and food and preservation in the garden and how things are going on this homestead. So I'll be posting a video a day for the next 30 days, doing a challenge with a friend of mine. She's gonna cheer me on to do it. She's doing it with me to support me, and I'm excited for that and to see what she's sharing about as well. So that's all she wrote for now. We'll see. They're all talking to each other here. I have multiple roosters in different zones right now because I need hawk protection, and they all like to talk to each other. So that's why they're talking, is just each one. And they all have their own sound of voice, so I can tell you which rooster it is that's doing it where. So yeah, it's hilarious. But anyway, that's all she wrote for now. And until next time.